Recently over on the stream, we've been doing a play-by-play playthrough, which is basically me explaining every single detail in what I am doing. I've got over 8,000 hours in this game, been playing for 5 years, almost daily with those 5 years. And this game is one of a kind. The way that it gives you your information, as well as, you know, noise, visual cues. It is such a amazing piece of artwork this game is. We've been doing it over on the live streams, which is twitch.tv/Piranha. Got partnered recently, big pog. So if you want to come over and say hi, then more than welcome. We are going to be doing this more and more. If I happen to have to add a bit more detail in a certain situation while I'm actually doing anything, I will be adding a voiceover. So you just see a little VO with a speaker icon pop up if I am actually doing a voiceover, just so you guys don't get confused. Some feedback would be awesome with these kind of series. I will be doing more and more, so don't go anywhere. But if you can give me some feedback down below in the comments, that would be awesome. Also, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I will judge it by how many likes and views we're actually going to get on this series if you guys are actually enjoying this. So we are going to be showing you 2 raids that we're doing. They're over on customs with an RFB. A big thank you to the Patreons, as well as to Beansy, Freddy, and Per Fredrickson for your continued support. So chat, this gun sounds like a leper. It also is going to grab everyone's fucking attention, which is great. When I spawn here, I actually like to push back and try to catch people coming over the hill that aren't actually going to be rushing the Dawn's building. So close by, there is actually 2 spawns that you can actually spawn with when you do have the spawn next to this wall here. One is over to the far left, which is by the power line, and then one is actually over the hill to the far left where the stash is. If you're going to continue on in that general direction, you can get the corner spawn, which is by the other stash, as well as by the pile of rocks next to the military checkpoint. And at this point, I am purely just listening for audio. I'm trying to find people that I can engage and then relocate. But sometimes I just one-tap people a lot. So I can't either whiff like a sad sack of shit and then rotate, which is good. Whilst moving up to this rock, I actually saw some movement on the train tracks. As you can see, there are some little legs that are walking along. I'm going to shoot this scav. The reason that I'm actually shooting these scavs is so that they peek me. They might hear my gun and have a look in my general direction, but they don't know specifically where I am. This is purely just for bait, so they can stick their head out and I can take them out. With that nade going off, we know that the individuals has jumped over. Scavs did spawn in the crane area, which actually meant no PMC spawned anywhere near sniper building. So with this, I'm just assuming that they're nading the scavs. There they are. Perfecto. The debate worked, eh? As the gun can sound like a leper or even just a heavy hitting gun, I'm playing quite aggressively with this. I want to try and catch them off guard and not think that I'm going to be pushing right up next to them, as they're most probably going to think that I'll be sitting up there sniping some more. I wasn't sure which one to go for first, whether it's the one on the right or the left. It's the safest play you could have done. So right there, I should have waited for the guy to push out through the hole. I'm not gonna lie to you, he had tunnel vision hard, bro. The guy to the right, like, we were in the open, he could have shot us. He had tunnel vision going through the hole. So there was 2 possibilities of going through my head. Was that I got to shoot the guy to the left and then shoot the guy to the right. But because he had such hard tunnel vision, I could have waited for him to push through. I wouldn't have known this, but I could have waited for him to push through the hole, shot the guy to the left, wait for him to come back through the hole, and then shot him as he came through the hole. But because he had such tunnel vision, which I didn't actually think he would have done, But right there, that kind of showcased how important it is to rotate once you've engaged someone. Because what I do, I shot a guy by the end of the train tracks, and then he then shot again to try and kill the guy at the end of the platform. Missed twice, and then was like, okay, we need to rotate. I need to pack mags. We need to move from our position, which is what I wanted to do. So we did that, and then yeah, we just couldn't hold our own. Just, if I wasn't such a whiff of a shot, he'd be fucking dead. Because me's a stinky whiffer. So starting off on this map, we are currently sitting on top of ice cream. Now, when I sit in these kind of positions, I try to think of the most obvious spots where people just won't look. And sitting on top of ice cream, it's such a open spot, people just don't look here. There's a few things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the people who are spawned over at the garages that are going to be going to rush the dorms building. I'm looking for the spawn that is on the other side of the bridge, pushing straight over junk bridge and then heading up towards dorms. Those are my 2 points of view that I'm actually trying to get here. I just need your tag. That's all I want is your tag. I want your gun. So nothing has really happened so far. I'm going to head on top of construction and then try to use this as a point of view, because we know that there is a spawn over in this direction, and they didn't push me when I killed the lad that was running up the hill over at ice cream. Alright, so we know someone's over to the right. That door's open, which means that there's been player movement. We killed the guy to the far right, and I spawned at ice cream. So there's 2 positions left, which is the far corner on the opposite side of construction. And then as we know someone's here before we got here, we know that there's a spawn right here that he's gone straight into. That he went straight into crack. He could have either gone left and gone towards fortress, which he might have done. Or he could be pushing to the right. But we know there's gunshots over by garages over there. So that could be the guy who's spawned in the far corner over that way, pushed up and came here. Hearing that scav shout, we know that there's someone is over by the garages. Also, if you look at the placement of my gun, it's right there on top of the building. Here we can look in crack house, as well as people leaving the repair center, and down by containers on the left hand side. And then on the right hand side, we can see the corner hole. That is mainly our open spots that we need to watch out for in case we see a player movement as well as a rotation. Realistically, now the game's progressed far enough where people from the other side of the map could push over on top of construction, on top of skeleton. That's something that we now need to keep an eye on. There you go. This is information we want. Silent shots. Scav. So now we know there's 2 sets of people. Or that we think that there's 2 sets of people. Okay, so whoever that person was, they got one-tapped. Or they're behind cover. Which does mean that we're on a possible rotate. If they were fighting someone inside crack, then we are technically in a good position for a rotate. At the moment, I'm purely listening to see if there's any more shots or if there's actually going to be a rotate off. If I push up at this point, people are going to hear me. I either need to wait for a firefight or until I basically get bored of sitting up here. Got marshmallows for the campfire. I like s'mores, bro. Can't have more marshmallows. They're not vegan. They're made of gelatin, bro. How do I build my RFBs? Loud to draw attention. A site that's multi. And an M80. You need a multi-site on this. Okay, cool. M4 HK. Because it was so spread out between the 2 previous kills, I am actually thinking that realistically that their guard's going to be a lot more lower because they finally got that last individual. So I'm going to try and rotate somewhere close by and start my engagement. Okay, we just saw an individual on the other side of the wall. So this position that we're actually getting into right now is a very overpowered position. It can look over to the wall. It's far enough away where they won't actually hear us jump. And realistically, they're going to be listening for close range targets, not so much long range. So they're going to be looking for the hole in the wall as well as around the garages and down the land bridge. So up here is a pretty OP spot. Then again, the fire rate could have been high enough where it's definitely a high fire rate gun, whether it's an M4 or it could be a Vector. Ah, then there we go. Okay, so now we got he's shooting a scav. Oh, it's an MP7. He's dead. Because you're shooting a scav, that means his combat's most probably finished. We don't know if there's more. There is more. Interesting. Okay, cool. There's one more to the right. You saw him next to the garage. He's trying to flash us. Now he's dead. So we know that a wall was dividing us. Now we know there's two. We only heard one set days ago from an individual. He was the only one who was currently engaging in that point. So now he's dead and his teammate is dead. We're going to approach from a different angle. Because one, we're loud as fuck. And two, our position's been compromised. You might think that I'm packing my mag in a very stupid spot, but actually no. I am quite low profile with the gear I got on, and I'm actually packing my mag inside of a ditch, and it's the last place someone is actually going to be looking for us after that firefight. They're going to be looking up high to see where the sniper is. Also, whilst we're packing the mag, I can hear the gunshots going off literally just around the corner. Realistically, that is over by Fortress, and I'm using that as a place marker if PMCs are pushing in this direction. He's been over there for a while shooting randomly, so my guess is that he is a low player and not a Chad, so I'm most likely not going to be pushed inside this position, but we haven't actually heard anything over to dorm, so I do need to be wary for that. So I'm thinking bridge is a good spot. Corner hole looks clear from what I can see. So the information I know now is that they're not expecting a rotate. My only biggest concern is a scav. Because then I have to give away my position. So we know it's a team of two. There's information. That's a scav. Scav came out of garages. Okay, that's really good information. Which then means that everyone's dead and the scavs are spawned in. So we know that it's safe to go over there now. So that scav did react to us over to the far left hand side, and we need to make sure we put objects between us and this scav. If that scav does shoot at us, he will be pointing his gun in our direction and giving key information to anyone who is still alive, if there is any. We are also going to be coming from the land bridge side, and when we do end up picking our heads up from the rails, we are trying to keep as low profile as we can, so that we are only going to be showing our head when we are sticking our head underneath those rails to see if there is anyone around the Welcome to Tarkov truck. It's loud without a suppressor. I know. I love it. It's such a bait. Like, people come over. It pulls people on the map, bro. It's like when you want a loud M4, you expect people to come push you. Okay. We know that there's wood behind a blue bin. It's sliding. That's most probably a scav. The reason for switching to the MP5 that it is a small caliber gun and nowhere near as loud as my RFB. We don't want to give our position away now that the fight is finally finished. I feel extremely confident that everyone's dead. Let's get a quick aerial where people won't expect us to be. So we're checking garages and we're looking at these windows over here to make sure there isn't anyone in there. Two individuals. Nice shot. I don't know how I didn't hear you jump. What do you mean? Alright, cool, he is. Yeah, he's there. GG, guys. Oh yeah, I didn't even fucking see that guy. Ironically, mate, ironically, if you'd like to see the last, how I killed you and how I heard everything, I narrated everything I did in that fight. That's all stuff that just goes through my head, by the way, when I'm in certain situations. You know? Oh, he's opening the door for us. What a nice guy. I'm the gunsmith guy. That's me. And a big thank you to all of my Patreons supporting me over on patreon.com/Piranha TV. And a huge thank you to Freddie Beansy and Per Fredrickson. Without this kind of support, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.